All right, welcome back to this week's episode of The Providers.
Yeah.
Got my boy Greg with me in the studio here today. Got some fun stuff to talk about. We'd like to hit on where to hunt and is state land worth it or not, and what you can do with that. Maybe talk about some first hunts or some goose hunts, and we'll probably get into some funny stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. More than likely along the way.
Sitting in my tree stand, watching the leaves land, praying for a little love. Cause it's opening day and us pass through boys looking to drag out a big old buck.
We'll kick it off with Sam's first goose hunt. As goose season's starting to edge in here and get closer, and duck hunting and all that stuff that gets me all excited. And everybody talks about what's your favorite hunt, and that's a tough one for me because there's a big difference between a personal hunt and hunting with him. And if I had a choice, it would be my favorite hunt is always him taking something. You know what I mean? And even over my biggest buck and stuff. And usually you wouldn't think about a goose hunt being one of your favorite hunts, but man, Sam, again, he's only 15. I think this was a couple of years ago, so he's probably 13 years old and saved up his money and bought a 12 gauge specifically to go duck hunting with dad. This is what I want. I want to go duck hunting with you. I want my own shotgun. I want it to be a semi-auto. He had a game plan. I was like, hey, that's sweet. Let's do this, you know? Well, our deer hunting lease, they had cut the corn, and Ron had been on a hunt like a couple days before, and he's like, hey, there was like, I don't know, 150, 200 geese in the front field. And I'm like, wait, what? So we jumped all over that, and I said, Sam, let's go on this goose hunt. So we go, and great morning, birds coming in, and flock comes in, take them, we pop out, boom, boom, boom. I knocked 2 birds down. Look over at him like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I didn't hit anything. So then I go collect the birds, come back. Another flock comes in, I knock one down. He was so frustrated that morning. I had birds locking in, coming in, and he could not hit. So then I'm like, hey, just calm down. We'll come back this evening. Don't worry. Like, it'll be fine. So evening hunt hits. We get back out there, get all set up. Got birds locking in. He misses again. He's super frustrated. And then finally, we get this flock to come in. He pops out of that blind. Boom! Boom! He took 3 shots, but he got 2 birds. And to get 2 birds in one set is pretty, it's a pretty big deal. It's pretty exciting. And the excitement that came out of that kid was just like, he screams and goes, yeah, I got 2. and then it was so cool just to see him just light up and just like, this is what it's all about, and then we sat there until he limited out. So his first goose hunt, he actually hit a limit, and we ended, I don't know, I'm sure goose hunters out there have done this where like you're done, you're wrapping up, and he had 4 geese, he can get 5, and my wife starts texting me like, how late you gonna be, what's going on? And I'm like, hey, you had a great day, you got 4 birds, let's just call it. And he's like, there was still time, but I was like, let's just call it, go have some dinner or something. And we're packing stuff up, and I'm like, hey, I've got your gun, it's right here, it's still loaded, and this is why, because birds might still come through, just know where it's at and what's going on. Okay, we pack everything up. We have a quad trailer all but maybe 6 geese packed,
Decoys?
packed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the decoys. These two geese fly over, and they're skybusters. I'll just tell you right now, they're way up there. He's like, should I shoot? Should I try it? And I'm like, go ahead, kid, knock yourself out. Like, sure. He like takes a knee, aims, and he shoots, and there was like a delay because it was so far up, and the front one's neck just drops and just. I was like, holy crap! So that's how we limited out. But oh my gosh, it was so cool. And he admitted afterwards that he was leading the first bird, and he actually hit the second
one.
But,
That's funny.
oh man, that was one that I'm not gonna forget. It was just such a sweet moment just to be out there and see his excitement with that.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So, still a couple weeks out from deer hunting, right? And I'm assuming you're trying to get out goose hunting as much as you can.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
You going back out to the same property that you took me to last year? Out
for goose?
For goose, yeah. Out in that field, or is that field not good this year?
That field is beans this year, but his brother's field beyond that on the other side of the block is corn. And
so I laugh because Steve has been a diehard waterfowl hunter for years.
Well, I try.
I actually,
I'm a diehard trier.
and I actually really enjoyed the filming aspect of waterfowl hunting. So when we were filming, I would go out with Don Ray and Joe
and those guys,
and I think it filmed you a couple times. And I love to film. Never got into it. Like, as far as the hunting aspect of it, never got into it. So last year, I finally told Steve, like, okay, we both have same days off here. I'm buying a tag and a duck stamp, and you're gonna teach me how to do all this crap. So I felt like the 10-year-old kid out there, like, Steve, what do I need? And do you have a gun for me? And do you have a layout blind for me? And I have nothing for it. So now that I've got to do it, I'm like, okay, I kind of understand where the excitement of this comes into play.
Yeah, what's crazy is I tell people when they ask me about waterfowl, Matt says it too. They're like, "Oh, is it fun? Do you like it?" And I said, "Well, how much do you like deer hunting?" They're like, "Oh my gosh, I love deer hunting." Then don't go waterfowl hunting because you'll get hooked. It's so fun.
Well, it's awesome because unlike deer hunting, you get to sit and talk in between and drink your coffee, or if you're on the boat, Matt brings fresh made burritos.
Yep, and a little grill out there and warm everything up.
No, it's pretty sweet. As much as I ripped on it for a few years, I did have a lot of fun last year going out. And
I mean, I know people take things at all different levels, and they're like, "Why are you out there talking or whatever?" But we just go out there and BS and have a good time, and all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, here they come!" And it's sweet.
And I think the big reason that I just talked down about it is because the last thing I needed was one more passion to get me out there. I was like, nope, I'm going to tell myself I hate this, and then
that's what I've been saying about your e-bike. I rode that and was like,
e-bike story. You don't even want to know. So
I hope you fell.
I bought a bike rack that goes on the back of my truck because I wanted to be able to still close my tonneau cover, keep all my hunting stuff dry, locked up, all that. So I buy a hitch, nice heavy duty aluminum bike hauler. Loaded up the other day. I was going to go out, check trail cameras, and actually a guy I know from our county said that they just found 8 dead deer this past weekend out by their out on their hunting property along the creek, so assuming EHD. And I was like, oh, crap. So my one property's got a couple pretty good-sized ponds, so I was like, I'm just going to go check the ponds, move a couple trail cameras, get out of there. Perfect chance to take the bike out, right? Strap the bike on the back of my truck, take off driving, doing about 45 miles an hour through the city away from my place and dump my bike off the back of the bike trailer
No way.
with the ratchet strap still holding it, so I'm dragging the bike
No. Oh my
at
god.
45 miles an hour.
Oh my god.
Slam on my brakes, go into the turn lane of a 5-lane road, and
Oh, God.
luckily had an extra ratchet strap with me, so now I know to hook the bike up from both directions to stabilize it a little better.
What happened to the bike?
Took a bunch of paint and metal off of the brake handles, scratched up the backside of the screen a little bit, but no legit damage. Everything's cosmetic. Got out to the property, bike worked sweet. Oh, it was so awesome. I
That's
was like
cool.
there and back in 5 minutes. It was awesome. But yeah, I was like,
Oh, that
hey,
sucks.
Erica, remember the money I spent on
Oh, my
the
God.
e-bike? Well, on its maiden voyage, I made it not quite so pretty. So
Yikes.
yeah, that was not good. But
As an old dirt biker, I could probably give you some pointers on how to strap that thing in.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it figured out now. But that was
You're gonna be like Pee Wee Herman with chains around the whole thing.
the bike's not for sale, Francis. $1 for every time I've heard that in my life. So one thing, and I know that we were just talking about different passions, and yours being goose hunting, is I live super close to a bunch of state land, and I've got 4 private land properties that I've been hunting for a couple of years. I get good deer out there, and for some reason you always look at me like I'm an idiot, where about this time of year I'm like, I'm going to go check out some state land. And you're
Yeah.
like, for what? And I was able to get out. I put a camera out. I think I found a spot, because my number one mission is to see if I can locate state land in a very heavily hunted area where nobody else touches, because I'm determined there's deer out there. Not just deer. I want to shoot a good buck on state land. That's like,
What was awesome is like a couple years ago, he gets all excited about this spot. He's like, "Oh, I found the spot. I found the spot. This is gonna be so sweet." Like, all right, cool. He's like, "I put a camera out there and everything." I'm like, okay. Like, is it locked up? He's like, "I don't even care if it gets taken. Like, this is sweet. Like, I'm leaving it. This is gonna be awesome." I'm like, okay, cool. First weekend of season, all he sees is hunter go by, hunter go by, hunter go by, and then the hunter dragging a deer by it. I was like, yep, that's the spot.
it was a good spot.
Yep.
It wasn't quite as secluded as I envisioned. So I got out of there. No, my new spot's sweet, other than the fact that I had to walk from the closest parking. I think I was just over a mile and a half in, and it was through some nasty thick stuff. So I finally actually told Steve, if we decide we want to hunt this, we may have to get dropped off of the highway somewhere by my wife so we can get into this spot. But even then, I thought I had that answer all figured out, and I walked up to the edge of the highway because I wanted to see where it exactly was.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an old, probably 5-10-year-old foam deer decoy laying right there in a bush.
Really?
And I'm like,
Somebody else doing the same
well, somebody else had that idea. So
Yeah.
it's like, I feel like it's like finding a needle in a haystack if I can pull this off.
Yeah. Fun though.
It
It's-
is fun.
It's
Oh,
a
there's
whole different
so
challenge
much
to it, and there's always big deer taken off of state land, so you can't ever.
And that's the thing around here. Like, we know a guy who has taken multiple 140 plus inch deer off of state land, off of the state land that I'm scouting. Actually, he's been out there for 20 plus years
Mm-hmm.
and has been super successful out of the same general location. But, you got to find that spot, and you're battling hundreds of other guys that are all thinking the same game plan. But man, I walked through some sweet stuff the other day. I called Steve afterwards and I was like,
Yeah.
we're going to grab our saddles and a set of sticks one day, and we're going to go check a couple of these spots out.
The other thing I think happens on state land is that everybody knows it's like a position thing, and that they're trying to they try to like claim their little area or whatever. And especially bow season, you drive by and there's like 2 or 3 trucks there in the parking lot, and you're like, screw that, I'm not going in there. Well, then you look on the map and it's like 600 acres.
Oh, it's huge.
Like
Yeah,
it's a huge area, and you're like, well, it's already covered up, and there's more than likely it's just one guy in each vehicle, you
Right.
know. And sometimes they'll probably say everybody drive separate just so that we can kind of claim this area, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it gets intimidating.
Yeah, if they go with their buddy, they all drive in their own truck or whatever. And there's the other thing too is obviously I think the weekend warriors pressure the crap out of it.
Mhm.
But if you can get in and hunt it on a Wednesday or a Thursday before the next weekend picks up, it's had a couple days to calm back down.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's hard for us in Michigan. I think state land is a different conversation than if you
Right.
go out of state.
Right.
And I know probably there's spots in every state where state land gets pressured, but in Michigan, we're talking like hundreds of guys battling over small pieces of
I
state land.
and I rabbit hunt quite a bit in the winter, and I'll hit state land all the time for rabbits. And every year I'm like, why am I not hunting this spot? Because you see so much sign.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh my gosh. But
We grew up in Dansville, and the Dansville state land is
it's
thousands,
huge. Yeah.
thousands of acres. And I don't think any of us ever hunted the state land for deer because it drew people in from Detroit, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of Detroit coming west. But, you know, that year that I shot my big buck that Steve filmed ended up being 150 inches. He was bedding 200 yards from state land, just across the road.
Hmm.
And when we were filming the show, we got to the point filming the show, we had to take all of our decals off of our trucks. Like originally we had our stuff all tricked out that said Pass-Through Productions, the providers and stuff all over it. Well, then people started catching on, well, where are these guys driving to? Where are they hunting at and all this? Well, we were doing that whole season saga about seeing this deer, right? We saw that buck 10, 12 times. It was within 2 weeks of that, I could look at the state land and count like 5 tree stands where guys were trying to catch that deer, hoping
Yeah.
he was going to cross that road. And luckily he didn't. But, you know, there's a lot of hunting pressure out there. But at the same time, I'm like, there's still got to be that diamond in the rough if you're willing to put in the work
Right.
and go for it. Now, if you shoot something, it's going to be a whole nother scenario. I was thinking that the other day. I was like, this spot could be really sweet, but oh my God, if we shoot a deer, is it going to be a pain in the ass to get it out of
Yeah.
here? But
And when you're thinking about going out on state land, you got to factor that in too. Like, you're probably going to go hit the woods a lot earlier than what you normally do, because you're like, I got to claim my spot. You
Yeah.
know, that's what happens with duck hunting a lot, and duck hunt on the river and stuff. And I'm like, I got to get out there early. I know where the spot that I want to be at.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get there before the other guy. The opener of duck is pretty much stupid. Like, it's just people just trying to get to their spots and get, like, it's kind of crazy, but also fun in its own realm, as far as, you know, you can get to your spot and get everything set up and not have to battle the people, and then you're good to go. So,
and you do a lot of your hunting like on the Maple, right?
yeah.
Maple River.
Yeah.
And then that's where we actually went out and did a group deer hunt. Right? We were along the Maple. We were Maple Rapids, I think, that at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
And there was what, six of us or so, where we
Yeah.
all said the same thing. Hey, we're going to spend a weekend. We're just going to go hit state land, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew anything about where we were. I didn't know anything about it, but we'd kind of looked at maps. You maybe rabbit hunted it or something before. I can't remember.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. But, you know, trying to walk in the pitch black dark, find a spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's cool though to me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it is.
it's one thing to have a spot set that you know what it's going to be when it gets to be daybreak and you got whatever, but I think part of the thrill to me is going into a spot that you know nothing about, picking a spot where you're going to sit
Yeah.
that you know nothing about, and then hunting deer that you know nothing about.
Do you remember when that backfired on us?
As far as when.
Which time you mean?
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, I've scouted this property and I've got the perfect spot. And I'm like, Greg, we're filming. I'm like, Greg, come with me back here. And he's like, okay. Well, Greg and I are willing to walk miles to find a spot. We don't care. We're just going to go. Ron, not so much. So I'm like, okay, we're going to walk all the way to the back of this. Like, it's going to be a trek. And we were using climbers, and they're heavy and whatever, and we had all the gear. And there's a tiny little small woods at the front of the property. And it's like 80 yards from the parking lot.
Yeah.
Ron's like, I'm going to go here. We're like, okay, dude. So he finds a tree. We see him shimmying up a tree, and we trek all the way back. I mean, we were back there.
We were a long ways back.
So we find this spot, and I'm like, dude, this is sweet. Look at these trails. This is all covered up. It's going to be awesome. We get there nice and early in the dark. Argue over a tree like we always do. Get up the tree, and then same thing. We see, just like your trail camera, we see there goes a hunter walking by. There goes another hunter walking by. We're like, what is going on? We probably saw 5-6 guys go by us.
And we had walked so far that these guys were coming from the opposite direction.
Yeah.
They had a parking spot we didn't know about.
Yeah. Later on, we are like 100 yards from the other parking spot. My dumbass put us in a spot that I thought we were really remote, and we were not. We still saw a couple bucks that day, and then we get down. We hunted till probably 11.
Yeah, we hunted. It was a long hunt because we were seeing deer.
Let's just sit it out, you know. And again, this was so long ago that we weren't like, there's either no cell reception or we weren't really using them. And we get down, we're walking back, like, all right, let's go tell Ron he can get down now. And Ron is 25 feet up in a tree with his climber, and he's just sitting on the railing of his top piece of the climber because the bottom piece fell out from under him and he didn't have that safety rope. So he was stuck 25 feet up in the tree for hours.
Oh, it was hours. It was like it was easily 4 hours. And it happened on his climb up.
Yeah.
Like, it happened in the dark on his climb up. And he didn't want to screw us up by yelling for us to come help him. His legs
are like numb.
He sat on a 1.5-inch bar for 4 hours. So
you freaked out because you didn't even know what to do.
Well, I was like, what the hell how are we gonna get him down?
Right.
And you ended up hooking your climber up.
And then I pushed
his
bottom
base
all the way up with me, and then
oh my god,
got him set up, and then we got him back down. But oh my god, he's so lucky he didn't like give up and fall down because that was horrible.
Oh yeah, I don't know what he would have done. I seriously, I don't know how he didn't cut the circulation off on his legs. To be honest with you, but oh, typical Ronbo.
Yeah,
gotta love him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean. And that weekend, is that same weekend Eric Every or Ethan ended up shooting a buck that weekend?
Yeah, he did.
On the Maple. Yeah. So, I mean.
So we got one on state land. He was pumped about it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know. I find it as a personal challenge. It's funny because I've scouted that state land by me 3 or 4 years now. I think I went out one time late season and took out my sticks and just climbed up a tree and hunted. I saw deer, which was cool. I mean, I think a lot of people give state land a bad rap, and you think that, you know.
I think
if
it's
it's
a
brown,
time,
it's down, and blah blah blah. And you know where you're going. I
Yeah.
think it's
for me, it's a time thing. So I don't have much time. I've got 2 days that I can hunt, and it's like I want to go to a spot where I know it's not going to get screwed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If right now I'm working Tuesday through Saturday, so I have Mondays off. So Mondays are a little more tempting for me to explore like that, but it's still like your time's so limited that it's like, I don't know if I want to risk my one out of my 4 hunts that I'm gonna get,
Sure.
Uh, but it can pay off. It definitely can pay off.
Well, I think for me more so, my properties are on the small side, very small side, and it becomes crop dependent. So if all of a sudden I lose crops on both sides of my woods,
Yeah.
really on two of
Right.
my best spots, I just figure it's pretty much shut down for the rest of the season. So I got to find another option. Or, we've got, I don't know how many you have out now. I think I've got out 10 cell cams. If my cameras are dead, it makes it pretty hard to get motivated to want to go out and see, what's going on the property that I've already got cameras on. So we'll see. Maybe this year I'll venture out there once or twice. I don't know if I can talk you into going with me or not, but
Also, your biggest problem is when you get into a spot, you're like, but I think maybe there's more deer over there or over there. Or one time we were in Ohio. I'm in my favorite spot. I'm up on this hill looking down at this field, and Greg decides to hunt the field down low. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I can see everything. It's like I'm up in a tower almost. We start hunting. Things are looking good. I see this guy go, do. Goes over like 50 yards. Do. Hunts there for about an hour. Do. Goes down again. Do. Afterwards, he's like, yeah, I didn't feel good.
I didn't.
I could see a major trail. I just know deer are going to go. I'm like, oh my God.
I didn't see any deer that hunt either. That's weird.
That's weird. Neither did I. That's weird. Sometimes you're not screwed up by people on state land. You're screwed up by your buddy on private.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was I'm not one to sit still.
Right.
I've
But obviously, looking at your wall, like you've done very well. Like you're successful with it. So there's times where, especially on like those out of state hunts where you have 5 days or 6 days or whatever we go down for, and you're like the clock is ticking in all of our minds. And day one, you're like, yeah, maybe I won't shoot one. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
maybe I'll pass this one up or whatever.
Yeah.
But every day that goes by adds that much more pressure. Like you just want, not that it's all about the deer. Like we have a great time just with our friends, and like it's a great way to get out and do what we want. But there is that pressure of, man, I spent all this money on this tag. I put all this effort into this. I want to get this done. And sometimes you sit in the same spot over and over and over, and you say, this spot will pay off.
It will happen, yeah.
But when it doesn't happen, you're like, I'm a freaking idiot. Why didn't I switch it up?
Go to the deer.
And then there's you that's like, I hunted here this morning. I saw a deer. It was 80 yards out. I don't have a pin for that. I'm going to get closer because he's going to go through there again. And then you move your setup where I'm like, well, next time maybe he'll be a little closer to me or whatever. So you kind of got to find a happy medium there where I like the fact that you get aggressive and you're like, hey, I'm only down here for 5 days. Like,
I was gonna say, I
mean?
do it way more on the Ohio hunt than I do here, and I think because here on private land, I've got stuff set in the spots I know are gonna produce.
Right.
I'm a little last year I did move a couple stands because I felt like the deer were going different. But down in Ohio, especially when we were filming, like there was pressure to kill a deer because you had to make an episode.
right.
Like that sucked
Yep.
because all of a sudden, you go down, depending how many days we're down there, I'd look at it as, okay, I have 10 hunts, I have 12 hunts, whatever. And when we were filming even, we went a couple of years, we filmed ourselves down there, which helped because
but
now I had 10 or 12 hunts. If we were filming each other,
Yeah.
now you
Cut
only
it in
had
half.
5 hunts
Yeah.
or 6 hunts,
Right.
and you're trying to figure out what the heck you're going to do. That part of having a show sucked because
Mm-hmm.
there was constant pressure of producing.
Yep.
And now we go down and I think we relax a little bit more. And I'm not afraid to make a mistake,
Right.
I
Actually, everybody says how awesome it would be to have a show and to do all this stuff, and they bring it up to me like, hey, why don't we grab a camera and film and do this and that and the other. It got to the point where there was so much pressure on the hunt and the success and all of the things that come through with it, that once we kind of hung it up or paused it or whatever we're doing, I had to fall back in love with it, which is weird for me to say because I've been tore up about hunting my whole life, but like I had to kind of sit back and say, hey, let's just go on some solo hunts, get out there, fall back in love with nature, do your thing, and then it ramped back up for me. But there was a point where I was like, man, I'm just not enjoying life right now,
I think the hardest part for me was we recorded everything, right? Like, and me being the editor of the show, what was the first question I always asked one of you if you called me and said, I shot a buck? What was the first thing I said?
How's the footage? How's
the footage? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I loved to film. Like I found I was very passionate about the producing side of the show. The hardest part for me when we stopped doing it was the guilt of I'm going to kill something and I'm not going to have it on camera.
Yeah.
That was hard. Like that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was at that point, it was so ingrained in my head that if I don't have it to show somebody else, it didn't happen.
Yeah. I have that. I still have a buck on my wall that I've mounted that I shot in the Onondaga area or whatever. And it was one of those unforgettable hunts. It was so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I found it was a newer property that I was on. I found this new spot. I snuck in there with the climber and was like, this is gonna work. Over this ridge, I hear grunting, and then boom, these 2 does fly over this ridge. They literally split my tree. Doe on the right, doe on the left. I hear bah, 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 and I'm like, holy crap. I look, it's a shooter. He's coming. And I'm like, he's going to be right or left, right or left. He came on to my left. He's like right under me, like 5 yards. I get full draw. I have a camera. So Ron went and filmed another buddy of ours, Brendan. And you had a spare camera.
Yeah.
But you said, it's
been acting up.
I don't know. And I'm like, dude, I'll take anything. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to a new spot anyways. Whatever. Let's just try it. So I've got everything on camera. I'm here. I'm at full draw. The camera arm is actually bent a little bit. Like, you know how camera arms, and he's so close that I'm thinking my string is going to hit the camera arm when I release. So even though he's 5 yards away, I had to let down, readjust the camera. I'm like, just let him walk a few more steps, 5 more yards, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So I was patient. I'm like, I'm getting this on film. So I pushed it out, drew back again. He did exactly what I wanted. He's 10 yards now. I smoke him. So I thought. He runs, does a circle. I see him, like, I see where my arrow hit. Like, he's bleeding out. He takes off. I'm like, sweet. Just got this buck. Well, then you and Ron came. We tracked that deer. We had a horrible time finding blood.
Mm.
And you guys gave me well, you can come back and body hunt tomorrow. Like, this is not good. I'm like, dude, I drilled this deer, We come back. But that night, I'm like, Greg, I can't wait for you to see this footage. I'm so excited. Dude, this is such a sweet hunt. Well, with me moving everything with that camera, bumped it out of whatever it was acting up on, and it was just a blank screen. And it was like the most horrible, gut-wrenching feeling. Like, it just sucked. So I was like, I swear I had it. You know what I mean? And then Ron and I went back. We recovered the deer the next day, and Ron's like, oh my God, this is way better deer than I thought, and he's like, you need to get it mounted. So I mounted it, but I still look at that freaking deer on the wall, and it pisses me off because I'm like, it's not on film.
Right.
Like, it just, even though now I have other bucks on the wall that aren't on film,
mm-hmm.
and I'm fine with it. But back then, oh my God, did that ever, that was bad.
Yeah, that was a big change to have to make, because for so long we told our story by video. And to be honest, like, I think we both enjoy the fact that we can now sit in a studio like this and just reminisce about the old stories or tell what just happened. But while we're out on the hunt, we get to enjoy the outdoors part of it again, because I don't feel, the other thing that was horrible, as much as we talk about how we love to hunt, was when we didn't have enough footage to make an episode. And it's not the ideal time to go out and hunt, but damn it, I need 20 minutes of a hunt to go film.
Right.
And you're going out hunting when you don't feel like it. Maybe you don't feel good. I remember a year I had mono so bad, we had to go film. I think Travis might have been filming me.
Mm-hmm.
And we climb up the tree. I feel like I'm ready to die. And we get all set up. It's cold. I literally grabbed my bow and went. And Travis is like, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't pull my bow back. I was so sick.
That's
I remember
crazy.
I was sick for like 2 weeks. I'd lost like 15 pounds.
That's insane.
And just felt like I had to be there. And then
Right.
we went all the way up this tree, and I, honest to God, couldn't get my bow pulled back. It was like, what are we doing? This is insane. So yeah, I think.
And then on top of that, we had great sponsors, but they were like, our title was a deer hunting scenario sponsor with,
Right.
and we were in agreement with him that, like 95% of what you're filming needs to be in a stand with his product,
Right.
So, like, you could say, well, you could just make up an episode by going fishing, or you can make up an episode by doing a rabbit hunt. Yeah, we did a couple rabbit hunts and stuff, but we were primarily like, we're gonna do what's right for our sponsor and film using his product. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
there's so many angles of it that it just, there's a lot of pressure to it. But on the plus side, there's so many good sides to it, because we could always go back and watch our
Oh yeah.
our hunts. It was so fun. Like, you shot the biggest deer of your life, and I was there with you. Every time I filmed and somebody shot a deer, it felt like I shot the deer.
Yes.
Like, it was
yeah.
just as much my deer as it was your deer, and we shared that moment. And or if it's me and I shoot this deer, I can just turn and high five one of my best friends.
Oh, you
instantly.
shot that
Like,
buck
oh
with
my
Ron.
gosh.
When you shot your big buck, like 2 days before I shot my, I think it
Mhm.
was your
Yeah,
biggest.
Yeah.
2 days before I shot my biggest.
Yeah.
And you're out there with Ron, and you're just a freaking basket case. We'll link that. I I'm 99% sure I've got that video. We'll link that into the bottom of this podcast so you can see Steve. But he shot that deer and he was tore up. Like, number one, he's in a panic because he's got to get home to his son's football game.
Or basketball.
Right? Or
basketball
something.
tryout or whatever.
Yeah, something. And the kids were little. And Ron's like, we are not going anywhere right now. And Steve's like, we got to climb down. We got to find the arrow. I got to get to the truck. I got to get back to Renee. We got to do this for the boys. And Ron's like, you are sitting down right now and just collecting yourself because you were a mess. But you had Ron there with you.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool. And I remember I'm the same way. Anything I filmed, I felt like was almost more fun to me than being the hunter, which sounds crazy, but I think you put a little more attention into the details.
Well, okay, if you're just gonna do a at-home video, it's way different than when you're doing first show.
Mm-hmm.
So, at-home video, you don't really care if you're shaky. You don't care if it's in focus. You don't care if it, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I got this deer on film. Like, check this out. You know, there's so many things, like, as a hunter that have to come together and align perfectly. So you put your camera in your hand, and it's the same damn thing. And it's crazy to think about, but it's like everything's got to be smooth, perfect. There was hunts where I was like, as the cameraman, once the show airs, it's like, yeah, but did you see the camera work? Did you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like crazy.
Well, that's why I feel like I almost appreciated those hunts more because as a camera guy, you know, the hunter's sitting in his tree stand, but as a camera guy, you're sitting there filming the cardinal on the branch.
Yeah.
You're zoomed in on the
All the-
chipmunk
all the
running around on
B-roll.
the ground. Yeah, you're
Right.
getting a ton of B-roll, but at the same time, it forced you to look at all of the little stuff going on in the woods because
Right.
at the time, you're thinking you're just filming filler B-roll stuff, but what it was really making you do was kind of appreciate
Right. All
the little things, you
yeah.
know. You were like, I want the audience to see this. I want the audience to see this. And it's what made for good shows. Like, the better we got at doing that little stuff, the better it told a story. And I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I might have my iPhone with me on a little camera mount this year and see if I can film a little bit while I'm in the woods. But I've also told myself 100 times over, if I kill something and it doesn't make it on camera, it's not the end of the world. But
yeah, I literally wouldn't shoot if something wasn't on camera. Like,
back in the day,
yeah,
no,
there was like, I remember a turkey hunt with Todd Bowen where it was like, I got him a nice Tom, probably one of his biggest ones. We have that on a video, and then he's like, "Your turn. Let's go run and gun." And he talked me into using a gun because I had my bow, and I was like, so we switched it up, and we're going through the woods, and this Tom, probably with an 11, 12-inch beard, comes strutting up to me, and he had a huge tree in his way, and he's like, "Don't shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot." And I let it walk, and it was like, Todd's like, "Dude, why didn't you just freaking shoot it?" And I'm like, well, doesn't mean anything if I don't get it on camera.
Yeah.
I went that whole season and wound up with a Jake at the end.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked. But I was like, hey,
But that Jake was on camera.
yeah. That's what it takes, which what sucks.
Yeah. That's that was hard about doing all that. But when you got sponsors writing checks with expectations,
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
you had to do something, and that was part of the reason why we got on Michigan Out of Doors a couple times, or we got on Tom Nelson's American Archer a couple times, was a phone call of those guys saying, "Hey, I'm short 12 minutes, 14 minutes or something for this week's episode. Do you have something you can give us?"
Right.
And it's because all these shows have this pressure that no matter how you did hunting that week, you got to fill a 28.5-minute piece of airspace with something. So how you going to make that happen? And it added a boatload of stress.
And we only have so many tags in our pocket, so we have to have outside help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's a lot. There's a lot to it.
Yep, 100%. So, all right. Well, we are about 2 weeks out from the bow opener here in Michigan. And if you haven't started moving cameras around, I think one thing I'd advise is starting to think about, if they're on a field edge or a food source, maybe getting them more to a scrape area or some type of a fall travel area here in the next couple weeks, so you can move them and leave them alone. I know Steve has had great success with, I don't want to call it a mock scrape because it's not a mock scrape. You're doing the vines. Yeah, the vines.
You do the vine or a rope, but yeah, I usually just find a vine that's out there. And literally, I have a couple spots where you have a main trail and you know that they're traveling through there. Take a rope and just tie it from tree to tree all the way across and just let that thing hang in the middle. It looks weird when you're walking through the woods and you're like, what's that? But so many pictures of bucks and big bucks and does, and like does up on their hind legs just licking at it, and like it's crazy. And the other nice thing is, if you're hunting that spot, the deer is going to focus on that and not you necessarily. So they're going to walk through the woods and they're going to attract to that, want to go up, do their thing, lick on it, do the scrape and all that stuff. Meanwhile, you're over here and they're not paying attention to you at all, if it all works out right. But yeah,
I started doing the same thing probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I tell you, for number one, being a cheap natural thing, if you're cutting grapevine, that you just, if you're in a woods where you got grapevine and you can snip a piece of it, what you always say, like chest high.
It's more like closer to waist high, like belly button area, something like that.
Yeah, so you cut it at that length, and I have seen a ton of deer use that either on camera or in person as I hunt, and it's absolutely free to do. You're not having to use any synthetic dopey or, I even at one point tried the orbital gland stuff on it, like the deodorant. I can't remember, Code Blue or something. And I can tell you that I didn't see any difference in using that as I did just having those vines hang in a natural area.
Do it.
Yeah, I mean, you want to try to get it on a trail so they're naturally coming to it as it is. But if there is a vine hanging there, they will stop and pay attention to it. So if you haven't done that, it could be something kind of cool to add into your arsenal yet, with a couple weeks left before we get going into deer season.
Yep.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this episode up. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to this episode of The Providers, and we will catch you guys next week.